Hi, I'm Greg Jeffers. The university system works as a massive sorting mechanism. It sorts people, students, by their cognitive abilities. The top 10 or 20 schools get the top talent, but the top talent doesn't need most of what they are buying from the top schools. Famous examples are Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, both of whom attended Harvard for a very short period of time before dropping out to conquer the world. If you went to New Haven, Connecticut and took the freshman class from Yale and swapped it out with the local community college freshman class and let each group finish their education at their newly acquired college and came back in 20 years, the people we pulled out of Yale and put into the community college system would be running circles around the people we took from the community college and educated at Yale. So it wasn't Yale's liberal arts program that made the difference. It was the inherent cognitive abilities of the students. The outcome is little different than what you might see in professional football. Ask anyone who bets on sports. The team with the best athletes and average coaches will always beat the team with the average athletes and the best coaches. Of course, this thought experiment wouldn't work so hot at MIT. Getting through an engineering or mathematics program has far greater demands on conscientiousness than getting through a liberal arts program. So the colleges and high schools are really just sorting mechanisms. And as far as that goes, there is nothing inherently wrong with a sorting mechanism. But when the college also functions as an indoctrination camp, well, you get what we have today. Lots of incredibly angry and frustrated people in desperate need of deprogramming. And suppose the sorting mechanism produces too many units that cannot be profitably deployed. In that case, they use their political muscle to create parasitic opportunities for their cognitive tribesmen, who did not find a seat when the music stopped. This politically powerful cast of characters does things like funding virus labs in the Ukraine and the Sudan, or forming nonprofit charities where the CEOs make millions of dollars and little of the money finds its way to helping anyone except the Hidalgos. Keeping the Hidalgos employed at high-paid, cushy jobs is an imperative for the elite university sorting mechanism and the aristocracy of the cognitive elite. If 90% of their graduates end up working in less than prestigious occupations, the elite universities would lose their cachet, power, and money. So the elites create and maintain institutions, departments, and facilities that accomplish very little, but they look very busy. Healthcare is an excellent black hole for this sort of funding and parasitic job creation, as are education and government. By my estimation, over 80% of healthcare expenditures for chronic conditions are for pointless diagnostic services, not curative treatments, where the eventual outcome is well known. And that number is less than the budget for all healthcare administrators, managers, and executives, all of whom have their faces in the trough, and are why monthly healthcare premiums for a family are the equivalent of another mortgage. This, along with the expense of college educations and the taxes required to pay the pensions of the government hidalgos, is the primary expense that prevents young people from forming families and having children. But how do you communicate to a person who studied hard in college to become a healthcare administrator and who must get up early and commute to work to push endless amounts of pointless data around a screen for 10 hours per day that her position is parasitic, that they are a drain on the productive class? As Al Gore famously said, no man can understand a problem that his salary requires that he not understand. Of course, the parasitic hidalgos, Gulliver's Travel style, will need flappers. If you are unfamiliar with Jonathan Swift's wonderful novel and the meaning of flapper, I will leave a link in the comments, but you could search it on your own. And if you are not familiar with the idea of a flapper, it is because the indoctrination camps don't want you reading books like Gulliver's Travels, 1984, or Animal Farm. But I digress. Sort of. One can't be a very important parasite without a gang of subordinates to assist with the busy work. And the flappers working for the Hidalgos came from the oppressed groups and were hired as political payoffs for their votes and continued support. Now, please follow me here. You cannot have an oppressed class unless you have an oppressor class. And this is why the oppressor-oppressed narrative is so critical to the sorting mechanism, also known as the university industrial complex. They cannot get the political support they need without an oppressed class that they can bribe with make-work jobs. And the oppressed class is not interested in productive work that might benefit their oppressors or society as a whole, for that matter. They are interested in getting even with existence and taking revenge on creation and their fathers. And the Hidalgos, leftists all, have recruited mostly women to work in the elementary and middle schools to begin the indoctrination on our children as young as possible. And they have staffed these parasitic make-work institutions and departments with the political activists churned out by the indoctrination camps of the university industrial complex's second and third-rate schools. So why is a Quaker church leader interested in any of this? That's a fair question. And the answer is that for us to rebuild cooperative and interdependent communities, we need functioning, well-adjusted, and child-producing adults who can maintain stable homes long enough to see their offspring through to adulthood. And such people are in critically short supply now in America. And so it has come to this. For better or worse, and without any intention, our organization has morphed into a cult deprogramming entity. As I have backtracked through people's lives, this is how I see their construction. People living on remote Indonesian islands or in remote Andean villages or in the Anabaptist communities in America are not enraged because they are not exposed to endless brainwashing. Broken homes, parents busy working, many at parasite jobs, and countless hours spent at indoctrination camps or in front of screens watching videos edited by leftist media and entertainment industry professionals have programmed an entire generation for self-destruction. We hope to interrupt that. Our interest is in local meetings and communities. Can we reclaim and rebuild our heritage? Yes, there is some wreckage to sift through, but I am confident we can, or I wouldn't waste my breath here. All it takes is for us, the people of good conscience, to show up and put up and have a little faith. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can email me at americanquakers@proton.me. That's it for me today. Thank you. I'm Greg Jeffers for the American Quaker Friends Church.